Hi guys and welcome to my channel. In this Dragon Hunter guide I'm going to make a review of all essential cards in the deck and a quick review of the current state just after the patch 17.2.1 was released. I will share with you my experience and tips against other popular decks and heroes. I'll try to make this guide helpful for both new and experienced players and also for those who haven't played Dragon Hunter before. Dragon Hunter is somewhere between aggressive and control deck. It aims to defeat the enemy during the mid game with an early control of the board and damaging the enemy hero. You have two priorities with this deck: control the board and make everything possible to avoid longer games. I also have a video about the budget version of this deck, which is perfect for new players and climbing up to Platinum League. You can find a link in the upper right corner of the screen, and I will also put a link in the description below. Now let me begin with my current card selection. Those who know the deck will not be surprised too much, but there are some changes I have recently made in order to adapt against some opponent builds. I'm still experimenting with some of these changes. I'll also share my thoughts about some of the cards that you might expect to see here, but I am no longer using. The first card in my deck is Arcane Shot. It is very effective spell, especially when I need to finish off reborn minions or just to keep under control demon hunters and other aggressive decks at the start of the game. Blazing Battle Mage is very good at the start of the game, but not very effective after that. Now, when there are many long game scenarios, for example against priests and mage decks, I need something better, and this is probably the next card I will try to replace soon. Corrosive Breath is another effective card in this build and helps in many situations. Explosive Trap is crucial against aggro decks like Demon Hunters and Murloc Paladins. It is good to have one in your starting hand when you are playing against Paladins and Demon Hunters. Fairy Dragon is a standard card for this deck. It is very good at start, especially if you can also quickly take the Stormhammer. Fresh Scent is one of my new choices, and it helps me to surprise the other hunters and also some priest decks, who usually need more time till they can start acting. By buffing my beasts early in the game, I am doing enough damage to the priest before they are ready for a counterattack. It is a good strategy against decks that prefer longer fights. Face Stalker is a standard card for this deck, as well as Scavenger's Ingenuity. This is the card that was changed in the last balance patch. Instead of 3 attack and 3 health points, now it gives 2 attack and 2 health points. That is not good and may lead to some future general changes in the deck. Animal Companion, Primordial Explorer, Stormhammer, Zigzor and Evasive Fairwing are all crucial cards for this deck. Dragonbane is a card that I often hesitate to remove. Sometimes it helps me, sometimes it dies too quickly to make reasonable damage. I will probably remove it soon if I find the proper replacement. Rotnest Drake is probably the most valuable card in the deck. Without it, the deck just doesn't work in Diamond and Legendary leagues. By the way, if you are a new player or haven't played Dragon Hunter before, I have a video about how to get the Rotnest Drake. You will find the link in the description of this video. And my last card in the deck is Snapjaw. It may surprise you, but it has a good synergy with Scavenger's Ingenuity and Fresh Scent. This synergy is very effective against hunters and priest decks. Because of the latest changes in Scavenger's Ingenuity, now when you buff Snapjaw with either Fresh Scent or Scavenger Ingenuity, it will have 4 attack and will be safe from both Shadow Lord Pain and Shadow Lord Death. Let's now see what is missing. I have replaced both sharpshooters. I don't find them effective anymore, even if I have them in my starting hand. I guess the problem is that it has only 1 attack. I also replaced Tracking. Yes, sometimes it helps, but I also found that I usually need those cards it is discarding, especially in the fights that is about to take too long. I have also removed Pack Tactics. I prefer to have something else instead. It rarely helps me to keep the board under control, what should be its purpose in the first place. It is valuable only if I can pull it with Face Stalker, but that is not always possible. In many variations of the Dragon Hunter deck, you will see Imprisoned Felmo. It is a good card, so you may consider using it in your deck. Now let me share with you my recent experience against other builds. I will give you some tips here, but I am also preparing separate videos with full guides about playing the Dragon Hunter against other popular decks. Consider subscribing so you don't miss them when they are ready. I have finally managed to make my win rate positive against Demon Hunters. I used to fail against them most of the games, but I made some changes to my deck specifically to handle these fights, and now my win rate is above 65% against Demon Hunters. My advice here is to control the board at any cost and finish them as soon as possible. Choose Explosive Trap for your starting hand and be ready for Priestess of Fury. That means either to have control over the board with enough many minions, or at least be ready to use Rotnest Drake. Priests are a big challenge. Both Galakrond and Resurrect Priests are constantly healing their hero and can survive very long fights, which is not the best scenario for the Dragon Hunters. If I don't manage to do huge damage till 6th or 7th round, the game will probably be lost. That is the reason why I started to seek more options with other beasts and spells. Rotnest Drake is also good in many situations, for example against Skeleton Dragon and Sandhoof Water Bearer. They must be immediately eliminated. Warriors are not a problem if I manage to take control of the board. Quest Warriors can be challenging because of the fast armor generation. I rarely meet Paladins, Shamans and Mages for some reason, and I usually win. Mages are a problem when they manage to survive for too long. Murloc Paladin may win only if he manages to put more than 3 Murlocs on the board and upgrade their health. The strategy against him is similar to playing versus Demon Hunters. Fight for control of the board and pick Explosive Trap for your starting hand. Rogues and Droids are also not a problem. It is always fun to play against Galakrond Secret Rogues. There is a Quest Warlock build that sometimes make the fights very interesting. If you don't finish him on time, he will eventually play Maligus at a reduced cost and will finish you with 1 or 2 Soulfires. Don't let that happen. Fights against other hunters are always fun and unpredictable. Sometimes it is a matter of luck, sometimes it is all about skills. Face hunters usually don't have a chance. Very interesting are the fights against Highlander hunters. They share the aggressiveness of the other hunter decks, but are also capable of surviving longer battles compared to the Dragon Hunter. Against other builds, I have problems mainly if I fail to make enough damage on time and the fight is taking too long. So these are my tips against other decks and the current state of this build from my perspective. I think it is still very strong and you can achieve very high win rate in all leagues. I'll finish this guide with a very interesting game against an even more interesting warrior deck. By the time of this game I was still using Sharpshooter and Imprisoned Felmo, so you will also see them in action. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what is your experience with Dragon Hunter and other hunter builds. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this. Don't leave yet and enjoy the game against the warrior. I have removed the boring waiting parts, so it will not take too much time to watch the entire game. Thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.